right, guys, I'm gonna tell you, this story right here is peak irony, right? This story right here for 2022 has to be the most ironic story that I have read thus far. This story right here blows my mind, and it's kind of depressing because I'm losing faith in the younger generation. I really am. I'm losing faith in them, okay? Because they seem to be brainwashed, right? They have drunk the Democrat / progressive Kool-Aid that has turned a bunch of these kids into woke activists, okay? Woke activists, right? And this right here has really reared its head, especially when it comes to the situation in Chicago. As you guys should know, I did a story about it. Chicago wants to open up schools, right? They want in-person learning. However, the teachers and the teachers unions are like, nah, we don't want to go to school, right? We don't want to work, okay? It's too dangerous, okay? Now, it's the Democrats' fault because they signed up for this nonsense all last year because they've been bought and sold by the teachers union, okay? So now all of a sudden they want to open up again, okay? So apparently the students of Chicago, right? Chicago school students did not like that, right? They don't like the fact that the Democrats are trying to open back up schools again for in-person learning, so much so that they organized a walkout demanding virtual learning for 2 weeks plus COVID stipends, aka stimulus checks. Take a look.
We believe that our voices need to be heard.
Students taking a stand, kids from Chicago public schools across the district, they came out today to protest a return to in-person learning.
Many of them saying they want a voice in the decision.
Casey Cronus is live with details on what happened today. Casey?
Anthony and Natalie, CPS students who walked out of class today, joined peers from New York and Boston who did the same, expressing concern over COVID-19.
The voices of CPS students on Friday were loud and clear.
We don't feel safe in a school environment.
After walking out of class, about 200 students from across the district rallied outside Chicago Public Schools headquarters to protest the return of in-person learning amid the Omicron surge.
Our cause is important to us for our safety, for our school safety, and for our teachers, and it needs to be valued.
This all comes just a few days after the teachers union narrowly approved a deal with the district to return to the classroom after disagreements over a school safety plan.
There's absolutely no social distancing happening.
Students who walked out of Solario Academy High School near 55th and St. Louis Avenue say their classrooms are too crowded and want to have say in the decisions.
If we're old enough to choose what we want to do for the rest of our lives, once we're 18, I think we're old enough to choose what we want in our schools.
Students ended their calls for remote learning by marching downtown. In response, a statement from the district reads in part, CPS makes the health and safety of its students and staff its top priority and remains committed to fostering learning environments that allow students to respectfully deliberate issues.
That CPS statement also outlines the district's safety plan, which includes increased testing. Meantime, a CTU spokesperson tells us the union stands in solidarity with students. Live downtown, Casey Cronus, Fox 32, Chicago.
Bruh, that is almost unbelievable, right? It is almost unbelievable. But it is believable because, again, this is what happens when your science experiment basically breaks out of the lab. Okay, when you have radicalized these kids in this idea that they're entitled to something and that they have a say in something, this is what happens, right? They end up protesting, right, when you want to send them back to school, right? You want to send them back to school when you want to actually help them learn something, right? Because we all know how ineffective remote learning is, right? So these students are protesting against their own best interest. That's what they're doing. Okay. Now, the irony here is this is Chicago, right? They're saying we don't feel safe in school because of COVID, right? I would implore any of these kids to look at the statistics in regards to COVID and people their age. They should definitely check that out. But if you want to talk about being in a dangerous environment, I think it's safer to be in school than it is to be out on the streets and at home in Chicago, right? Would you rather be in school or out in the streets of Chicago? I'm just saying. It doesn't really make any sense to me, right? And that's why I think the irony comes in, because if it's about safety, you need to be protesting the violent crimes, right, and the soft on crime policies that your politicians are pushing. That's what you actually should be protesting. That is what you should be walking out over. Okay, that's what I would love to see from these students. And if you're so concerned about getting sick, then why are you protesting outside in the freezing cold, right? All y'all huddled together, probably trying to stay warm, breathing on each other, possibly putting yourself in a situation where you can get sick, protesting because you don't want to get sick, allegedly. I just find that to be absolutely fascinating stuff. So they're walking out of class because they want virtual learning, aka they just don't want to go to school. Just admit it. You just don't want to go to school. You don't want to go to school. Be real. They want COVID stipends, aka stimulus checks. And then they also say, F these racist police, right? So F the police in a city like Chicago. Oh my God. Again, this is why I say I'm losing faith in the younger generation. I really am. So let's read here. Chicago public schools students walked out of classes on Friday and made several demands, including a return to remote learning and coronavirus stipends for students. I can't believe this, man. Students from around the CPS system walked out of class at 12:30 p.m. on Friday, with some going to the system's headquarters in downtown Chicago to voice their demands. You know, one thing I will say about these students, they're smart enough to go to the root of their problem, right? They're not doing this in their own neighborhoods, unlike BLM, right? The protest was organized by a group called Chi-RADS, which describes itself as an organization of allied radical CPS high schoolers from every corner of the city to organize to create an educational system that best serves us. On Monday, the group issued a list of 39 demands on Twitter, stating that CPS neglects to address subpar conditions. Part of the students' demands include that all classes shift to a remote format for 2 weeks, while individual schools work on a plan to involve students, parents, teachers, and administrators in their decision-making on coronavirus policies. Once a plan is finalized, the students are demanding that the plan be put up for a vote by the school body. Okay, so here's the thing. I agree that parents, teachers, and administrators should have some say over decision-making, right? Mainly parents, right? They should get most of the say. But y'all students, y'all don't get any say in anything, right? You get a say in nothing. In one set of demands, the group states that the CPS should fully fund public transportation for students, reload EBT cards, and provide COVID relief stipends to students. So they're asking for food stamps and COVID relief stipends, right? These people are asking for food stamps, bro. They want handouts. Again, it's crazy how the people who want a nanny state probably have daddy issues, right? They probably have daddy issues. A lot of these people own food stamps and begging for money because they probably don't have fathers in their house. They probably don't have working fathers, right? 2-parent households, okay? So they want more money from the government. The group posted their chants on Twitter, which included F these racist police. Hey, ho, ho, Lori Lightfoot's got to go, reads another chant used by the group. No more oppression, change is now in session. Okay, so they said F the police. Again, you know, if it wasn't for these police, a lot of these kids wouldn't even be able to safely get to school, right? They're claiming they're oppressed. Again, this is the younger generation, guys. This is the younger generation. According to Fox 32 Chicago, some students protested near City Hall in addition to their own schools. Many of us are worried about not only our health, but our teachers' health, our janitors' health, even our administration's health, one student said during the protest. Students at the protest in downtown Chicago were seen with signs reading, "Not another student to COVID. The youth are not disposable," with one reading, "You also tested positive for profiting off of putting teachers and students in unsafe conditions." Again, these people aren't really following the science, right? They ain't really following the science, I don't think, okay? A spokesperson for the CPS told Fox News Digital that the district feels it's important for students to participate in civic action. Chicago Public Schools remains committed to fostering learning environments that allow students to respectfully deliberate issues with evidence and an open mind and safely participate in civic action, the spokesperson said. It is appropriate in classes or special school events to create an environment where students of all viewpoints feel they can express themselves in a safe and respectful environment. The demands made by a group of students comes after CPS came to an agreement with the Chicago Teachers Union on a resumption of in-person learning. After a productive day at the bargaining table, I'm pleased to report CTU will end their work stoppage. Chicago Mayor Lloyd Lightfoot tweeted on Sunday night, CPS, Chicago Public Schools, put a great proposal on the table that both bargaining teams discussed in detail today. On Monday, students in New York City also staged a walkout with students at Brooklyn Technical High School leaving in the middle of the day, protesting an apparent lack of testing for those at the school and in-person learning. Okay, so these kids are walking out in the middle of the day, right? And back in the day, they used to suspend kids for this, right? They used to suspend them. However, suspension is probably what these kids want because obviously they don't want to be in school, right? They don't really care about learning because they would want in-person learning. And they have been, fear-mongered by the Democrats and by the administration into believing that, hey, school is too dangerous for them to be in, right? School is too dangerous of an environment for them, okay? And like I said, this is what happens when your science experiment escapes out of the lab, right? This is what happens when you perpetually fearmonger people about this virus, and you also get them hooked on government money, right? And stimulus. They will always keep demanding more. There will never be enough. That's just how it is, right? So again, these students are entitled. In my opinion, they're not really following the science. In an ideal world, they should be expelled, but probably shouldn't do that because that's what they want, right? They really don't want to be in school. So let me know what you guys think. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Most importantly, share a Black conservative perspective. Peace.